Now, whoever told you that communication is about how you speak is right. So you have learned how to be interested. But then you have to talk, you have to be cause. And look, you should be able to switch both sides and know when to do that. Okay. Now, communication skills is also about how you speak. We're not going to get into what you say. And you've heard this. It's not what you said, it's how you said it. I love you really doesn't matter, but I love you, you know what I mean? It's how it is said. So let's get to that now. There are two things I want you to remember before we get into how you speak. First is think before you speak. A leader is always in control of her communication. They say exactly what they want to say. You can't put words into their mouth. You must be very good at some key communication points. See, when you leave your house in the morning, you know exactly who you're going to meet, right? What are you going to say to them? How are you going to open the conversation? What is your intention to lead it? Think about this prior and rehearse it. When you do that, let's say if you're going to meet a client, how am I going to start my introduction? My God, it's such a pleasure to meet you. I was looking up your LinkedIn account and I really love the fact that you went out donating in the time of the pandemic. That is awesome. That's how I want to start my meeting. And you know what? Even if I never got a chance to say anything, it's the intention that I'm prepared with that sorts out the vibe between me and the other person. But prepare a little bit, think a little bit. It will allow you to be cause very easily because you have the intention to be in control and to lead. It's a great starter. It's not random that you walked in and said, my God, I've heard so much about you. And what if the person asks what? Because when somebody tells me, oh, I've heard so much about you, and I say, what have you heard? And a lot of times people are at a loss of words because they don't know what to say. So, hey, stop using this, I've heard a lot about you, with me. Because if you ask me, what have you heard? I will tell you because I am prepared. I have thought this through and now I am opening my mouth to speak. Well, of course, there is a flow of conversation. I'm not saying prepare for everything, but prepare a little bit. When you expect me to come and talk to you and when you pay me the money, you want me to have prepared and thought through every single word that I'm going to say, right? Same way, isn't your time money? Isn't my time money? Does it not deserve some degree of preparation and intention put into it? That is a master of communication. And I'm going to urge you to do that. You're going to go to work. You're going to meet 6 colleagues. How are you going to open that? How are you going to be cause? What are you going to say? Hello, how are you? And not even wait for an answer. Or, hey, I saw your Facebook post. That kurta looked amazing on you. And you walk by. That's it. The same time it took, but you had thought it through. You had prepared a little bit. You are going to try this today and you're going to maintain that. Number 2 is clarify your intention. Okay. Now it's literally like your presence has a signature. When you write an email and there's a signature at the end of it, every communication that you have with people should mark your signature. So clarify to yourself and others, who are you? I am Priya Kumar. I'm a motivational speaker, author, and screenwriter. I'm the chief content officer and founder of Genius Inside. I must carry that in my conversation, that when I talk, it tallies up. Not that, hey, who are you? What do you talk? I don't understand. I am carrying that with me. What do I stand for? I stand for excellence. I stand for integrity. I stand for adding value. I stand for doing what is right, and it must show up in my conversation. That's a signature I am going to leave when the conversation or before the conversation ends. And before you leave, clarify how you can be reached again. When people meet for the first time and they say, oh, we'll catch up. How? How are you going to catch up? Let's meet again. When? How? So when you leave a conversation and you say, okay, let's meet again. Let's speak in a couple of days. Why don't I call you? Or let me email you? Or let me never call you? You get what I'm saying? Be clear about the medium or the mode of communication that is going to get carried forward from here. Clarify your intention in your communication. Who are you? What do you stand for? And how can you be reached? And look, you don't have to put it in so many words, but it comes out. As long as you are clear, you don't have to plan, I will go there and start this whole LinkedIn profile of mine. No, that's not what I'm saying. But in the conversation, it must come through that when you go and talk about me to somebody else, you say, oh, I met Priya Kumar. You know what? She's an author. You've forgotten other things, but kuch to yaad rakha. Now imagine if I did not clarify my intention of being there and plant it out, you'd say, you know what? One lady had come to my office and she was talking about this. You won't even bother saying my name. You don't know what I do. You don't know what I stand for. You never figured out who I am. Why will you remember my name? It's meaningless. It does not make sense. And if you remember my name, is because you know who I am, is because I have made the effort that you know it. Get it? So get into the habit. Think before you speak and clarify your intention. That's going to be a part of your playbook. Now let's get to how do you speak? So let's look at the physical aspects, and let's first come to the first most important point is volume. Have you heard people who talk so loud? My God, it's so irritating that, there are times when you even put those ear pods in your ears and you can still hear them talking. And no matter how much you may try to confront them and say, dial down and so on, you say, no, my voice is loud. Hey, nobody was born with a loud voice. You talk loud. All right. Probably you live in a very big house and your rooms are too far apart that you have to yell at each other. Or maybe I don't know what. All right. Now, do I have a loud volume? How will I ever figure out how many times have people told me, speak a little softly? If I have heard that even once, I am too loud. It's irritating. People do not like it. Now, what about people who talk so softly that you lose interest, that you're guessing? And how many times to say, I can't hear you? And you know what? It's really terrible that when you are sitting with somebody very important or very senior, he's loud, you can take it. But what if he's very soft? You can't say zor se bolo, dial up and so on. Now you're filling in the gaps. You're assuming what the other person is saying. Not great communication. All right. Now, what your tone should be is it should be enough to reach the person. Make the effort to say, am I too loud? There are many times when I am talking and and the person on the adjacent table looks at me. And then suddenly I get the cue and I ask the person, do you think I'm too loud? And they say, no, politely. But then I dial down my volume. Okay. Make the effort to ask, can you hear me? If you see the person straining a little or losing interest, ask, can you hear me? Dial up, and it's okay to say, am I too loud? You find a balance and be very careful on feedback, that what people are telling you about your volume. Number 2 is speed. See, I'm the kind of person who talks very fast. Okay. And there are people who talk like, a fast train non-stop. I'm like that. Okay. But these are also people who think fast. If I start talking slowly, I forget. I go blank because the thoughts have gone ahead and I'm like thinking, where did it go? What was I thinking? In fact, every time I have tried to talk slowly, then I pause for a long time and say, what was I saying? It's okay. Speed is not a problem. All right. There are people who are so calm. They talk slowly. Not that they think slowly. They are just calm and they are in track with their thoughts, in track with, whatever is going on in their mind. They just articulate it very slowly and you are interested. You're not getting irritated. See, with both these people, you are interested because they are making sense. Now, there are people who talk fast, but they are confused. They go from one topic to another topic to another topic to another topic non-stop. And you're thinking, when he pauses, I will run for my life. All right. Now that is not cool. That is a confused person. Now that's something you want to be very wary about. My speed, is it fast? How many people, when they had a chance to talk after my pause, exited? That means you talk too fast and you talk too much and you make no sense. Then there are people who are so confused. They talk slowly. They are not calm. They are just confused. They go on and on. And it just doesn't make sense. He kahan se kahan? What is he talking? He's so confused and slow. Well, take a good introspective look into yourself. Are you on the right track? Well, there is no medium speed. Okay. The speed of your words coming out matches the speed of your thoughts. And if you are slow or you are fast, as long as you have clarity, that's fine. But if you are slow and if you are fast because you're confused and you yourself can't remember what you started out talking, then that is a problem. And it may be a smart idea to get feedback from people close to you on where would you rate me on these 4 points. That's going to be a part of your playbook too. The next one is accent. You decide what your accent should be like. Your ethnicity is okay. I'm a Punjabi. And if you speak to people from Punjab who speak in English, they have a very typical Punjabi accent, like the South Indians have a very typical South Indian English accent, and so on and so forth. It's okay. But you decide what you want and then don't hold that as an inhibition. See, from a very young age, my eyes were set out into the world. And I exposed myself to a lot of Western dialogues. I would watch English films. I would listen to English songs. I would listen to English speeches. I even studied German. I studied French. So when I travel, people tell me, you don't sound Indian when you speak. Hey, it's conscious. If you would have left me with my friends and with the kind of environment I was brought up in, I would speak very good English. It sounds like a fake Punjabi accent, but you know what I'm saying. So if your accent is an inhibition, if you feel, it's not really working out, take an online course. You decide how you want to talk. Like that choice comes when you take your phone or what kind of language you are selecting. Same way, what kind of accent are you selecting, and then be fine with it. Then comes articulation and modulation, voice modulation. Now look, first you fish out the examples. You go find people you are inspired by. I was speaking about Mr. Amitabh Bachchan earlier. His voice, his articulation, his voice modulation inspires me. And what I do sometimes is I pick people and I listen to verses. I listen to shero shairi. I listen to speeches. I listen to interviews, and I'm intrigued by how he said this, how he spoke. Practice, and don't practice on one person. So don't just pick Mr. Amitabh Bachchan and start practicing, because very quickly they'll say, oh, you speak like Mr. Bachchan, huh? You're trying to copy him. Have an array of 10 people and practice and mimic and practice and copy and be inspired and practice. Then in this blend of following and practicing with 10 people, you will find your own unique modulation and articulation. Do that. I still do it. I listen to interviews, and if there is some line he says with a pause, I will pause right there, write it down, and say it in the exact same tone. Okay. And it gives me goosebumps. Of course, I'll never remember that line, but I have learned an articulation. I have learned a voice modulation. And this again is only upon your interest. I can tell you to do this, but are you really going to make the effort to find this, to do this, to make the time for it? Well, that depends on what your goal is, what your vision is, and what your purpose is. You can go dress in the best brand. You can wear the Gucci shoes and Prada purse and be branded from top to bottom, and then open your mouth and people run away. There are people like that. Oh my God, he looks so good and so smashing. Fir muh khola to say, okay, thank you very much. I don't think I'm even interested in who you are and what you do anymore. That is the power of communication skills. And it is going to be your interest and your effort to master it. Now comes the most important part, which is facial expressions. Now, I want you to record something, okay, on video. Go on Zoom, chalo, talk to yourself, give a lecture, or talk to a friend and record it. Now, look back. Now, go and play back. Now, there are a lot of people who talk with their head tilted. You will see this. Even in life, they talk like that. That's not okay. Your head should be straight. Of course, the nod is fine. I'm talking about head position should be straight, not tilted on one side. Yes, if you're listening, then it's okay as a tilt, but not when you're talking. Then head nod is okay, but not so much that in a minute, or maybe where needed, that head nod is fine. Okay. Now, head nod, a lot of people get stuck with only one kind of head nod. It should be all, left, right. Like they say that in India, the head nod is where the conversation is. Don't be that noddy. All right. You're not a dancer. So check, are you nodding too much? If it's okay, if it suits it, fine. But if it stands out to the point where somebody says, oh, are you Indian? Then there is a problem. Now, smile a lot. In fact, smile should be a feature in your communication. Did you know you can hear a smile? That even if the person didn't see you and you were on the phone, you could hear a person smiling? That is so cool. And any conversation that has that vibe of smile is a beautiful conversation. Practice that. Put on your Zoom. Now, talk. I went to school and it was so cool. You know what? You will start enjoying the conversation. Keep that smile plastered, but now you'll get it. Okay. In the beginning, it'll be funny because you're not used to it. But you know what? When you speak with a smile, you will be interested in your own conversation. And did you know a smile is contagious? You smile, the other person smiles. And what better way to create an environment of positivity? And what better way can there be? Just a smile creates an environment of positivity in communication, no matter what the topic is about. Then don't be afraid to frown. It's okay to frown. You must express. Your words should match with your facial expressions. So if I'm saying this is serious, oh, you better look serious. Then don't say this is serious. You get what I'm saying, right? So articulate your facial expressions with your words, and it comes beautifully with practice. If you practice it a few times, it'll become natural to you. See, it's already natural. Who knows? All the time you're frowning. You're saying I love you also with the frown. Who knows? But until you don't see, you won't catch it. And you'll realize it doesn't suit here. It suited somewhere, but not all the time. Somehow you just got stuck in it, right? And that's where you need to correct it. The greatest communication happens with eyes. Okay. And be open to using your eyes in communication. Really. Okay. Use your eyes a little bit. I was so confused. I don't understand. You see the eye movement? My God, it adds magic into your words that sometimes people are not listening that attentively. But visuals make a mark deeper than the words said. Use your eyes. When you smile, your eyes light up, they crinkle up. Be okay to look up and think, frown, roll your eyes, whatever it takes to suit the conversation. And it may be a smart idea. Pick up some fiction books. He looked confused. Confused is how? I was so confused. Instead of saying, I was so confused that day. Come on, express it a little. I'm not even saying get out and act fully, but wouldn't that make the conversation so interesting? That the person, even when you pause, that person is still into you and saying, oh, it's over. Sometimes I have this live coaching and after an hour it's done with. And I say, okay, thank you very much. They're still there. And I say, it's over. And so many times in my workshops, I say, thank you very much. They're still listening. And I'm like, I'm done with. If you pay me more, I'll talk more. But otherwise, abhi itna kafi hai. That should be the level of your communication, not those confused people who are looking for a pause to run away. But if you can match your facial expressions to your words, where does that come from? Are you born with it? No. You learn it. And if you have come so far, you open the playbook right now, go to the suggestions I have made and practice. It won't take long. See, these are natural things. You will enjoy it so much that you will start picking it up in real life. You will find it in people. You will find it in places. You will find it in everything you read. And you will absorb it to the point that listening to you would be like, oh my God. And when you are done talking, I'm still listening. You know what I mean? It's that beautiful. When you listen back to yourself on the video, oh, watch out for these repetitive words. Okay, yeah, yes, huh, or right, and so on. There was one time I was doing my book launch manhunt with Sonu Nigam. Do you know, over 500 times I said, I don't know what got into me. I was so nervous, perhaps. I was all over the place. It was the pandemic, and I did not want to delay the launch of my book, and the lockdown was just not lifting. And Sonu Nigam was so kind enough to launch my book. And whenever he comes in, it's like you're in this magnanimous presence, and already, I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing. You know what I mean? When you're in the presence of a person who's a living legend in whatever it is that they do, it does overwhelm you. And I kept saying, it was appalling that my team asked me after that, are you okay? You don't talk like that. Chalo, wo to ek instance tha. There was one time after a workshop, one person comes in, tells me, Madam, you said okay every 5 seconds. My God. Okay. So listen back to your words. What are the repetitive words you are using? That is a sign of confusion. That is a sign that you're overwhelmed. You're not here. You're not present. You're not prepared. You're nervous or whatever. Okay. But sometimes being mindful and conscious helps. So pick it up. Maybe it's a habit you have formed. And because you catch it, you can unlearn it very quickly. And plus, it's very irritating for the listener, and you will become the joke they will talk about once you're gone. And you really don't want that. Then look out for touching the face all the time and so on. I have seen people, and I'm not joking, who will start bursting their pimples and scratching and taking something out in front of you while they're listening to you or talking. There was one time this guy was bursting his pimple, and it was appalling. He was talking to somebody else. I was in the meeting. Then he burst it. Okay. Then he picked up a tissue, and now he's checking the blood. What are you doing? Don't do that. Okay. So if you have the habit of touching your face, or, outlining your mustache or your beard, and, like that, some people start face yoga while talking to you. Be mindful. Okay. These are all distractions, and these are all things that are going to lead to making you smaller, to making you lighter, that the message is lost, but this is all the person remembers and is going to do it in a communications workshop to tell you not to do it. Get it? Then you have to watch your feet when you're talking. Haven't you seen people tapping all the time? And while the foot is going on, you can see the vibration going on top. Sometimes it's both feet and so on. Look at your feet when you're talking. In fact, when you're doing this recording on Zoom or wherever, see where your feet are. Now I am short. So any chair you give me does not fit my size. So my feet are always hanging. All right. And by necessity, my feet are moving. Not that I'm nervous. Like if you come to my office or you come to my house, you will see a footstool where I put my feet because I can't help it. So I wear high heels, especially when I know I'm going to go somewhere, sit down and talk so that my feet don't become a distraction. Chalo, for me, it's a height issue, but for some people, it's a point of nervousness and you want to catch it. So putting your hands on your knees is to catch whether your feet are going to start this whole vibration business or not. It's distracting and you need to get control of it. And then there is this shifty posture. There are people who keep shifting in the chair and you want to ask them, do you want to take my chair? Or shifty hands or shifty eyes. And basically they are so restless and shifty. Look at that. And look, go on to Zoom and talk for a bit. Talk to your friend and see what is going on. What is all of this? And catch it. See, the fact that you can see it, you won't do it again. Very highly unlikely. You're doing it because you don't know it for whatever reason it is that you're doing it. Okay. Now, when you catch all of this and you align yourself, then how you speak actually becomes a point of control. And that is magic. Now, while these are points on how you speak, let us look at how should you listen. When you're on the listener side, how should your expression be? What should your posture be? Because that is also a point of control. Now, let me tell you about the head nod. When you're listening to people and you nod your head too much, you know what you're doing? You're encouraging the person to talk incessantly. And then in your head, stop thinking, why does he talk too much? Because you're nodding so much with encouragement. When people are talking, listen. Okay, without occasional head nod is okay, but not all the time. Have you not seen people? Oh my God, it's like they are stuck. They forgot to stop nodding. Don't do that. Okay, listen intently. It's okay to tilt your head. See, if you're talking and I listen to you like that, that's a great sign. But again and again, if I do this, you'll never stop talking. This video will never end. You have to practice what's your interested face. Let's say you're really interested. How will you show me that you're really interested? This is an interested posture. I have put my hand on my chin. My eyes are big. My head is tilted. Not that I'm planning to fall asleep, but make an interested face. Eyes big, blinking. Oh my God, that look, that's your interested face. Make it. Then also sit and make what is your bored face. Bored face is when your eyes are half. You can make an interested face and make a bored face. All right. It could still be this, but eyes are half. And you want to yawn. And look, if that yawn has entered your system, the other person is going to catch it. Don't think that you're going to suppress it and somehow make it go away. Your nostrils flare up and the other person knows that you're yawning. Oh my God, that's a bad sign. Could it be that the person talking to you is boring and you can do nothing about it? That's when your preparation on the interested face comes in handy, because you know what? As a listener, you want to be in control, and being bored is losing control. And that is 0 out of 10 on communication skills, because no matter what you talk, I'm going to be interested and I'm going to find that one gold nugget that you have come to deliver to me, which I have to hang on to with all my might. Be interested and find out. Then practice acknowledgements. See, when people are talking, you want to acknowledge so that they feel that you're listening. So have a list of 10 acknowledgement words. Wow, that's amazing. That's great. That's awesome. How cool is that? Oh my God, really? That's superb, or whatever it is. Have these 10 words, have a long list of statements. I understand. I know how you feel. Oh, I know that feeling, and so on. So when somebody says, I had the alarm and it snoozed 6 times and I never woke up, and I say, I understand. I know how you feel. I've been through the same thing. But these are things which can fit anywhere. Be prepared with it instead of just simply sitting and the person really doesn't know you got it or you didn't get it. If you want to be interested, you have to prepare a list of statements that you will tell people to let them know that you're in tune with the conversation, that you understand what they are saying. Somebody says, I got a new puppy. Oh my God, that's the most amazing thing you have ever done. Can I see it? I love dogs. You get it? So imagine somebody says, I got a new puppy, and my face is, okay, so what? I never said a word. That person won't be enthused to speak any further. We are not relating with each other. You follow, there is great power in acknowledgements, but you have to prepare for it to come naturally to you. And that's going to be a task in your playbook. And look, the conversation will end on my terms. I will decide how the conversation ends. So prepare for it. When you write an email, I have a sign-off line. Wishing you a weekend full of adventure. Wishing you a great week ahead. Love, light, abundance. That's a signature I want to end my communication with. Warm regards, Priya Kumar. So how am I going to sign off from this little talk that we are having? You decide. It was so wonderful meeting with you. The way you speak is so inspiring. And that thing that you said about the head nod, that will stay with me forever. Thank you very much. So don't just say it was wonderful to meet you. Why? Why was it wonderful to meet me? Tell me a sentence. Tell me one thing that you will take back. And you will only be able to tell that to me when you paid attention, when you were interested. And that is the highest sign off of a communication. You have ended on a note with a powerful summary that person will never forget you and what you told him in the end. He will go and repeat to everybody. He told me this, that the head nod really changed his life. And people will wonder, what is the head nod about? That's leaving an impact, even if all you did was listen. Now, all of this, is it going to happen overnight? No, but there could be a major improvement in a fortnight. And that happens when you get started. See, I've given you a lot of data here. Now, to apply it is going to be your game. I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to support you. And I'm here to see and monitor your improvement if you care enough to communicate with me. You can write to me. You can email me. You can call me. Maybe I won't answer if I'm in a shoot or something. You can WhatsApp me. I will respond later. But hey, stay in touch. So I really hope this helped. It truly will when you act upon it. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow again. Until then, it was a pleasure speaking with you. I look forward for more.